Hello and welcome to Copenhagen Fashion Week. My name is Johan Wirfält and I will be your host for this conversation. Joining me in our studio in Stockholm are sisters Karin Söderlind and Sofia Wallenstam. Very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
So you are the founders of one of Sweden's top fashion houses, Dagmar, and sustainability isn't only one of the focus areas for Copenhagen Fashion Week, it's also one of the key themes in your new collection and has been a core value of Dagmar since you launched the brand in 2005. So we will discuss this further later in this talk, but first of all I just wanted to start off with a little background. As I mentioned, you are sisters. So has Dagmar always been a family affair?
Yeah, it has actually. I think we started around the kitchen table when we were young. Our mother always says we sit and talked and what we were going to do when we were older. And it happened so that we came into the fashion industry. So it's always been there. And Dagmar is, of course, our grandmother's name. So it's always been in the family.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I mean, how is it working with your sisters? And is it is it easier sometimes, or is it actually harder? I guess a lot of sibling rivalry might come into the picture.
I think it's both. Yeah, right? Yeah, I think it's both. I think sometimes you want to kill each other, and sometimes it's just great to have each other because the love is so big. So you always have each other for that reason. And I think you can be straight and you can easily read each other. So they're both good and bad, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Business-wise, we take easily quick decisions. You don't have to go around and talk around and wait for things. You just know where you have each other. Mm-hmm. So that's business-wise very easy. And as you said, we also care about each other. So if you have a bad day, you understand each other.
It's also one of the reasons why we started to do something together, because it's also age difference between us. And we wanted to find a natural reason for us to hang out when we were older. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we would have had the same relationship maybe if we would not be working togetger.
That's true.
That's very
was
nice.
Actually one of the reasons.
Yeah.
It's 16 years between us.
Ah, okay. You couldn't tell. I'm not sure that's good or bad, but anyway.
Thank you.
But okay, so you have been working with sustainability since you started, basically. And how come you were so early on this?
I think we always had it in the family. We brought up like this. So for us, it was very natural. It comes from our mother. When she was cooking, she was always taking care of what we had and cooking from scratch. So everything was always very sustainable from that point of view. She was always very into buying one thing and maybe a bit more expensive with a high quality, but then you keep it for so much longer. So this is something that we always had with us. So for us, it was just very natural to start off like this. And when we started, we felt that there was not so many brands that were thinking like this. And we wanted to make clothes for like-minded women like ourselves. But we wanted to have a sustainable approach. At that time, the word sustainability was not really around. So we talked about good qualities. Mm. And for us, these good qualities was the lifetime of the piece of clothes in your wardrobe. And the production, how it's made. And the quality of the yarn or the fabric. And all these things today is actually sustainability. Mm. So it's really quite interesting that we always had this with us, and we always worked with organic cotton, and we always tried to find new materials and recycled polyesters, and we always had this in the company. But I mean, a few years back, I think the climate crisis is a fact for everyone. And we felt that we had been working with this for so long, but not really taking a statement clear enough. Mm. And we also found that the consumers were not really into, maybe they were into buying sustainable, but they probably weren't so well informed. So when people would choose our garment from something else, and maybe ours was a bit more expensive, they would choose something else because they couldn't know anymore why it's better. So we felt that we had to be better to inform the consumer of why it's better, and we also felt that we have to take it more serious. Mm. So, well, maybe you can say a bit more about this measurements that we started to do with the company.
Yeah, well, I I mean, as Sofia said, we always worked with sustainability in either production-wise or choice of fabrics and stuff like that. But not so much, not 100%, because we couldn't find good alternatives. But so when we came into 2016, we were like, okay, there is a climate crisis, and we are like just doing this a little bit and not talking so much about it. So we thought that why not go 100%? So that year we set up goals for the company and how we wanted to work. And so actually our goals are quite hard. We want to be climate neutral, because that is what we are doing with our sustainability is to be environmental friendly company. We want to support the climate change. So by doing this, we said we need to understand our emissions in the company and what we do, so we can make changes, good changes. So we started to measure our climate footprint or fabric footprint, and we did that together with an EU project company, an organization called ECAP, that they were offering us this opportunity to measure. And we did that 3 years in a row, and we will continue every year now. But we have had now, up until now, we have 3 years of measurement, and we learned really a lot from each year. And I mean, the first year was like crazy. I think 7% of our total production of fibers were sustainable, and
then we thought we have increased.
Good. Yeah, we thought we did quite good. Okay. So we learned like a lot, and we started to change. Like, okay, so which fabric is doing the worst impact on the environment? So okay, let's change that one to start with, and then the next one. So we could like really do good changes. And today we are offering 90% of the collection have at least 50% sustainable fabrics. Yeah. In each product. So,
and what does that mean? Does that mean that it's sort of like circularly produced, or is it sort of recycled?
It's different. Yeah. So either we work with materials that are recycled, or in some way
certified or organic.
Yeah. So when they are certified, that means that they are like new fibers, but they are probably made and produced in a better way than original fibers.
What we also did then, when we started measuring this and we started becoming better and better, we wanted to also educate our consumer, because I find myself it's very difficult in this world now to make good decisions. And I mean, there's food, there's cars, it's travel, it's so much that we don't really know about. But if you look at the food industry, they mark the products with the organic choices, and we felt that if we can do something similar with Dagmar, that would be so great, because then you don't have to know everything. You can trust that we have made those choices that are better. Yeah. So we started labeling our clothes with good choice. It's a label that we put on the clothes that have the extra good production or like yarns or fabrics.
So is that sort of like an official certification then?
No, it's our own certification. Yeah. So it's just from us.
It's a guidance.
It's just a guidance. And then we opened our first mini store in Stockholm, and we decided that would be only our good choice products in that store. And our goal is, of course, that all our products is going to be good choice. So you know, as a consumer, when you buy a Dagmar garment, you know that you have a good conscience in buying a garment. Well, at least better conscience than buying something similar that is not well produced. Of course, it's a big discussion of if it's good to shop or not in this world at this moment. But if you need to buy a new garment, I think it's very important to make a better choice, and that's why we call it good choice.
Yeah. So I mean, that probably brings up the next question, because obviously a lot of fashion consumers or shoppers in general, I mean, their first priority when actually buying like a new blouse or like a new garment might not be that it's sort of eco-friendly. They probably want it to be trendy. Exactly. That's why there's so how do you view that sort of dialectic between sustainability and trendiness or fashion readiness, if you know it?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. So I might sound a bit harsh, but maybe it's not possible to be a designer or like a fashion brand and be sustainable. I don't know, because is trends really the way we should work? Is it really the goal to make new trends every season? If that's the goal, then I don't think we can be sustainable. Because what you want to do with a garment is that you want to have it a long-lasting time in your wardrobe. That is sustainable. If you use a garment many times, then that makes it more sustainable than something that's a trend and you wear it just a few times. So in that sense, I would say the new trends, for me, that is not trendy. Because that's not really going to help us to make the world better in any way. So, but I think you can make it interesting anyway. I think there's so many things you can do. You can make classic garments with a twist. You can make something in really good quality so you have it in your wardrobe for many years. You can put it down and let it rest for a few years when you're tired, and then you can take it back. I mean, trends come and go in the fashion industry. We have seen that. In 10 years of spam, it goes like this. So if you buy something that has that extra quality, you can also fold it in, take care of it, and then a few years later, you can take it out again and use it. And I think that's the way we should start to treat our wardrobes and our garments, and not just buy into these new trends. And it's much more healthy for us and for the environment to buy something that's for me, not for everyone else, not just the trend.
I think we have to look at trends in a new way.
Yeah.
Trends perhaps will not be the new it garment. Maybe trends is something else. Trends could be like a way of styling yourself instead of just a typical garment. So I think we all have to, we have to look into the trends in a totally new way, because we have to change our habits. We can't buy and shop like this, and we just need to understand that and do a change.
And I mean, how that analysis, if you sort of take that and put it into your current business model and then look forward, what comes out? You know, how will this affect the future business of Dagmar?
I mean, this is what everything that we have been working for, to give our customers a possibility to buy less, actually, but to buy long-lasting products. So we want our customer to be able to use our products 100 to 200 times. Imagine that when you buy a product, can I do this? And yes, maybe then you shall buy it, but maybe not if you can't.
And do you know, is that something you have measured? The sort of like, what is the sort of general usage of, let's say, a top from Dagmar compared to some other brand?
What we have actually learned is that there's a high demand for Dagmar in secondhand stores and on those type of sites, eBay, which makes us really happy. And also we have our own Decade site where we sell old collections, which are totally up to date to today. So there's so many nice garments. It's just like an old season. And we want to get away from these seasons. And before we had 4 seasons, now we're trying to take only 2 and really just have different drops and making sure that we give our customer, our woman, what she wants in a certain time, and that it has that level of quality, so she can have it for a long time. And when she's tired, she makes it, put it to rest or give it to her friend or, you know, sibling or children further on. But that would be the ideal situation. So
then is your goal to sort of completely move away from seasons and just have like a slow sort of update of your collection seamlessly? Or?
I mean, that would be a dream, of course, to just deliver what we need at that certain time. Yeah, it's as it's been in the fashion industry, that summer pieces go to sale in May before it's even warm, in Scandinavia at least. And the winter clothes go on sale in December before Christmas even started with the gifts. I mean, this whole cycle has been wrong for so long. So I really hope there will be some changes moving forward. That's the dream.
But still, you have a new collection. So let's talk a little about that. I mean, what are the sort of inspirations and key references for your new collection?
Do you mean the autumn-winter that we will represent?
Yeah, exactly. The one you're presenting at Copenhagen Fashion Week.
I mean, it's really, of course, we get inspiration a lot from certain things like art, architecture, and things like that. So that's really important for us because that is usually also very long-lasting in design, you know, in both furniture and art and buildings and so on. So that always gives us some type of inspiration when we develop the collections. But if you look into this certain collection, we have just really gone into our woman and see what she wants, what she needs to have as essentials in her wardrobe, and maybe some must-have pieces to add on to that. So really making sure that the essentials of the wardrobe is in the best qualities that we could find, and also the must-haves have interest enough to make you want to have that as well. As a top off. So it's just basically to make clothes for our woman. That has been the inspiration, our woman, and to make her wardrobe feel very much up to date but still long lasting. It's a balance. It's a balance to make a collection feel modern and up to date, and also make it sustainable and long lasting. So I mean, what I'm wearing today is this turtle. I mean, such a classic piece, of course, but I had this probably for 10 years from Dagmar in the finest merino wool. Even this blazer I had for a few seasons. So I think it's really about mixing and matching different seasons to new seasons, and look into your wardrobe how you can make it new.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at the environment we are now in Stockholm, but the Copenhagen Fashion Week is obviously in Copenhagen, so we're doing this digitally, and then there are some sort of hybrid fashion shows that will take place in Copenhagen and be streamed live, etc. But how are you going to present your collection at the Copenhagen Fashion Week?
We were a bit sad, of course, that we couldn't go, because we always wanted to be and to join the Copenhagen Fashion Week and to have something live there, of course. But then we started to think how we can be there but not be there. So our presentation is really about us coming to Copenhagen with Dagmar without being there.
Which means?
We did a shooting, not in Copenhagen, of the collection, and then we realized that we will not be able to be there. So we did a shooting on a green screen, which means that you can actually put the model in with another background virtually. So it's like a way of filming. Yeah. And so
will the models be at Tivoli then?
Maybe. Yeah. So, and then we had another team in Copenhagen filming like different locations for us that were Copenhagen locations. Yeah. So then they are like putting this avatar, we call her, into these different locations, like an augmented reality presentation, you can say. And then we're actually going to show this, or we're going to do something more with this. We're going to take this shooting that we did and do it in new environments for the autumn when we are releasing the collection for the consumer.
Yeah, so then the consumer can take this avatar into an app on their screen and take our Dagmar person and put her wherever they want to.
So you're recycling the presentation.
Exactly. So we're actually you can bring home our Dagmar model into your room. And it's also a way of, actually, it was fun because it was a new way of producing perhaps a more sustainable production too, actually, without no one is traveling a lot, and it was actually only the collection traveling a little bit, and no people were traveling to do this production, and it felt very good to do it.
Because I mean, obviously the pandemic has changed so much over the last year. I mean, in the world, but also within the fashion industry. And for example, designer Natasha Ramsey-Levi at Chloé, she famously quit her job like a few months ago, and she was citing the COVID-19 crisis as like the main reason for her wanting to do something else with her life, basically. So I mean, how has the pandemic affected your business? has it been a wake-up call for you as well in some respect, and if so, how?
I think our wake-up call was a few years ago when we really realized that we were in a climate crisis. And I think we have been working ever since that to make the reason for us being here more okay. So what we felt a few years ago, if we're not going to do this change, we might just as well not produce clothes. That does not make sense for us. So that's why we did that change, and we have been working with that ever since. So I think we were already in that change way before this. So
you're ahead of the curve, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I
don't know if you're allowed to make COVID jokes, but I just think so.
You are.
No, but I think the COVID is it's just for us. It's of course been a challenge as well. I mean, for stores and so on. But I'm glad we have the digital possibilities as well. So it's just to make the best of the situation, I guess. But we're pretty tired of the situation. Want it to be over, meet people.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, looking ahead, then, where do you see Dagmar going, and where do you see fashion going in the next few years, and maybe then taking into account both the COVID crisis and the climate crisis?
Yeah.
Well, but of course, we hope that everyone will start have the mindset of a more environmental friendly way of producing, working, living. But I think also that I hope that the fashion business will do a change and like dare to do it, and not having that some like journalists or people in the business like kind of, well, the fashion is out, and as it is a bad thing, it could also be a good thing. That fashion and trends, as we spoke about, is not what it was. It could be a good thing, so we should all promote it instead, a good change. So let's hope that people are like understanding that the change is a positive thing.
Yeah.
Excellent, good change. Seems like a good thing to sort of finish this conversation off. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to all our viewers.